was required to bring in about $300 a night. My pimp was paying his sister, who was a crack addict, to watch my children at the time, who were both under the age of 3. My pimp took all of my money every day.
This is an issue that people may not necessarily want to hear about, but it's an issue that needs to have more awareness about it so that we can do something about it. I think most people would be opposed to having mothers forced into prostitution to feed their kids. Hi, my name is Brian Willis. I'm the Director of Global Health Promise. Our organization is dedicated to helping prostituted mothers and trafficked mothers and their children around the world. Thank you very much for your time to listen about this issue and to learn about our organization.
And in August of 1989, I was stabbed and left for dead by a trick who wanted to rob me. And because I fought with him to make sure that he couldn't steal my money, I ended up being stabbed several times in the neck and the arm. And it was that day that I decided that even though I had no self-esteem for myself, that I wanted to live for my kids.
This one woman said that she had just doused herself with gasoline, was ready to light the match when her son came in. And she broke into tears. I was as close as I could get without not needing tissue myself. And so that was not an uncommon story about you know, at the last minute's saving because of the child, that something would say, I can't stand this life, but my child needs me. So, of course, most of the women there knew prostituted women who had been successful, unfortunately, in their suicides.
It's one woman I will never forget. It was in that little restaurant, and I asked her, do you have any questions for me? And she looked at me with this most pained expression I've ever seen, and she asked me, how can I get out of this hell? And for me, that I think is really the core questions for all of us. How can we help these mothers and their children get out of this hell? Because it's not like it is on TV. It's not like in that movie Pretty Woman. You know, most of these women and their children are living in a hell, and we need to help them get out of it.
Hello, I'm Catherine Welch, Medical Director of Global Health Promise. In 2007, I teamed up with Brian Willis to serve mothers and children who are trafficked, prostituted, or trapped in other forms of sexual exploitation. Currently, I live in Northeast China, developing new programs here and in other parts of Asia. I met a woman in China who has a child with cerebral palsy. She has no other family support. She told me that the only way she can afford the expensive medical care for her child was to prostitute herself. Children of sexually exploited mothers often get caught up in exploitation themselves. This is a deathly cycle that must stop.
For me, my life is about people made investments in me that changed my life, that you can change. This is the message. Because the message that you hear from the pimps, the message that you hear from many services is that people like me don't change. We're not capable of changing. It's impossible to change. It's not true. It's a lie. You can change. You can become successful. You can live a wonderful life. It is hard work, and it's totally worth it. Because if you don't change, you're going to live in misery the rest of your life.
Once we can help them, and it doesn't take that much, but once we can help them, then we're going to break the cycle, because so many of these children of mothers who are in prostitution are at extremely high risk of being trafficked or forced into prostitution themselves.
We may have a space where you can go rest for during the daytime if you're out on the street for a moment, where you may be able to receive hygiene products, or you may be able to receive a hot meal once or twice a week. But that's really the bare bones services. That doesn't even address the mother-child issue. But the fact is that that's a human being out there suffering, and that we have all the answers to create the change necessary. We just need to put the energy into it. The energy meaning dollars, the energy meaning people, and there are a ton of people who are out there working as hard as they can daily with no resources.
Why am I doing it? How could I not do it? How can you see these mothers and their children who are used and abused and murdered and raped and beaten and dying? How can you not get up and do something?
Trafficking, prostitution, and sexual exploitation are huge problems the world over. We cannot do this alone. Many organizations do much to fight human trafficking. We fight human trafficking by fighting for women and children. If you believe that no mother should be prostituted or trafficked in order to support her family, then please support our efforts to help them. With your donations, we can restore health, bring hope, and end the cycle of abuse of these women and children. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for taking the time to view our video. This is just a very short overview of the type of problems and issues we're dealing with, and the issues that millions of mothers and children are dealing with. Catherine and I have made a promise to help these mothers and children, and we hope you will make the same promise and work with us so that we can stand by these mothers and their children and help them back to health and wellness and happiness. Thank you.
I don't care.